Great day, everyone. Welcome to Samadhi. Today is Monday. It is March 25th, 2019, and we're back again here on a beautiful Monday with Michael and Allie on Mondays. Is what we had said, but we've been getting some feedback, but we're still waiting on some others, and this is still kind of like a pilot run. We're not sure until we officially announce it, okay? So, Michael, you want to do the welcomes?
Definitely welcome everybody. And first of all, vibrational greetings and harmonious blessings to each and every single one of you on this beautiful, beautiful Monday, March 25th, 2019. And again, we chose Mondays because we want to inspire your week. Hey, Jolene and Debbie are with us. Blessings. Blessings, beautiful. You girls are so beautiful and amazing. Thank you for joining us. The reason why I'm going to start Mondays is because everybody, well, not everybody, let me be more clear on that. Most people think Mondays are like, oh my gosh, it's Monday. Monday is what you make of it. Monday is just another day, but it's an amazing day. So here at Samadhi, we want to welcome you to your space. We want to welcome you to the space of neutrality, where it's not about positivity, it's not about negativity. It's about neutrality. It's about authenticity. It's about, it's about genuineness. It's about rawness. It's about realness. It's about time to bring that authenticity, to bring that realness to the table that you are here to bring. Each and every single one of you have a message. Each and every single one of you have a purpose. Every single one of you have a passion. And when you start to peel those layers of what's convincing you of what other people tell you, what life has told you, but you're not listening to your own voice, then you start becoming more sensitive to yourself, and you start realizing that you are valuable, you are important, you are special, you are amazing. So here at this space of Samadhi, you're welcomed, you are invited, you are embraced, you are loved, you are allowed to be you. So thank you for joining us here at Samadhi. And the message for today... Yeah. Well, I was going to tell us.
Go ahead.
And we don't like to call them mistakes, but, that's how we learn. But mistakes are welcome. So you might see us going back and forth. But if we were waiting for it to be perfect, we would never do it. And really, it is perfect just the way it comes out. And that's the message of life. So for today's topic, it is a great topic, which is the month of March. The month of miracles, the month of miracles, which is we're doing topics for the letter M. And we thought it's so important to talk about mental health because that's what Samadhi is really, really here as a potent force to break through those confusions about mental health and to talk about what really is about mental health. So without further ado, let's talk about the greatest miracle, which is the breath. So let's, each and every single one of us, if you're able to, just take a moment and give yourself this moment. Give yourself this place to care for you, to love you, to be aware of you. So let's just take a deep breath and feel that breath. Feel that unconditional love showing up in every moment. Every breath is sacred. It's beautiful. How many people are struggling to breathe right now? But we are fortunate to breathe effortlessly. And it's free. And it's abundant. Let's breathe it in. And just sit with it for a moment. Just sit with that realization that you are worthy. That breath is your evidence of your worthiness. The heartbeat is the evidence of your worthiness. So just sit with your worthiness for a moment. You don't need nobody to prove it to you. You don't need to look in books and other people to prove how worthy you are. All you need to do is just relax into it. Surrender into it. And allow what's already happening to continue. but consciously be aware of it. Beautiful. Just let go. The more you can let go, the more you'll be willing and able to receive. Take a deep breath. And all of us as one, ready to receive. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So let's welcome, see who is with us.
Yes.
Before I get into
Donald Lashaway is with us. Aaron G. Riggs is with us. Thank you guys for joining us. Jolene just commented. Debbie says it's a fresh start. Amen. Oh, wait. Let me go back to the very beginning. Debbie K. Garcia says, good morning. Jolene says, blessings to you. Missed you both so much. Miss you too, Jolene. Thank you. It's great to see you. Debbie says it's a fresh start. Alice says, we miss you too, Jolene Gastelum. Yes, we do. We've been talking about you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we've been talking about you. We miss you, girl. And for those of you that don't know Jolene, please look her up. She does designs, which we will be contacting you soon, Jolene, because we have so many plans. Jolene says, I've been watching and keeping up on the replays. My schedule has changed so much. I am so happy I'm able to catch you live today. It's such a difference to interact. Yes, it definitely is. Thank you, Jolene.
So much, Jolene.
So that's everybody.
Okay.
So let me just say that we've been wanting Jolene to join us for a long time, and it's such a gift to have you with us today, Jolene.
Yes.
So go ahead, Ali.
Well, usually when I speak, I always say that I direct it to the woman because I give that woman's perspective, obviously. But I also want today, because of the mental health, for those men that are listening, either live or on the replay. Maybe you don't hear this today. Maybe it takes a month, 2 months, a year. It doesn't matter. Whoever listens, it's their time to listen to this message. When Michael and I decided to use mental health today, it really hit a chord on something. And we also tell you that we have the controversial corner. So when we speak about things, sometimes they're not the... You can do it later, so when you put it up. Sometimes the topics are a little touchy, and we say, well, we want to come on Mondays. We want your Mondays to start out right and to have something to look forward to on Mondays. But I still feel very determined, I guess, if you want to use that word, to speak about what happens when we don't take care of our mental health. And you're not alone if sometimes you've thought you're crazy. You're not alone if sometimes you ask the question, why me? Why does this happen? How do I get out of this? Is this the way my life is going to be until I die? There's so many questions that we ask ourselves when we're in the middle of either depression, abuse, either physical, verbal, mental. There's so much abuse, and sometimes the sad thing is that we're not even aware of it. So when someone criticizes you, you've come out of a relationship that's very, very challenging for you, that has been filled with abuse for many years. You come out of that, and you know there's going to be criticism sometimes, right? Because there's two sides of everything, and you're looked upon as though, oh my gosh, that woman is crazy, or she just has these mood swings, or you know, she goes from being sad to then being angry. And you can, and I'm talking to the woman, but I need the men to listen as well, that most of what happens to us is a product of our environment. And we have been in a mental state for so long of believing that the way we are treated is normal, that the way we are treated is acceptable, that we don't have a right to speak up, or that if we do, we're going to seem even crazier. You know, I don't want to retaliate. I don't want to get into arguments, or I don't want to scream. I keep it inside. And that is not healthy for that mind. So what do we do once we come out of a situation like that? Whatever your situation may be, the mind is going to be affected. There's no way that you can think, oh, well, I just brush this off and I'm done, because there's work to do within yourself to be able to let go of the stigma. So, for example, if someone does criticize you or say anything about your mental state when you've come out of a difficult relationship, of an abusive relationship, well, excuse me, but what would you expect after years of being brainwashed, per se? What would you expect after years of living under certain conditions that your mind holds you prisoner in that place, and you think that that's how it's supposed to be? The mind needs a chance to adapt to knowing it's free, to knowing that now it's not those thoughts or those words that are going to keep you prisoner anymore. So I'm speaking from personal experience. Whenever I'm criticized about being too crazy, or you're just, you're sick, I stop for a moment and I say, if you only knew what I had to go through to even just get out of that situation, you wouldn't even say that I'm sick. You would say, wow, look how strong she is. Look how much she loves herself to even try, to live a life that I would say in quotes, normal, because we know about that. What is normal, right? And to the men, please, if you're going through it as well, because men could go through it, obviously, but I'm speaking to those men that create that place, that provoke the woman to the point of breaking. Be considerate. You don't know what she's been through. You have no idea. If you're in a relationship and you're starting a relationship, and I'm going to speak that for Michael. My hat's off to Michael, because he has had to learn how to cope and how do I help my wife? How can I be there for her when sometimes she still thinks she's back in that place of darkness, of fear, of anxiety? So men, support your women and be kind. Kindness goes a long way. So mental health is a very, very touchy, and it's very deep. And we know that a lot of people suffer from things that I can't even begin to imagine what it's like. But don't minimize a woman who has been battered or who has been beaten emotionally, physically, or mentally, that, oh, well, she's just exaggerating. Oh, she's so sensitive. She's always been crazy. Be kind. Be very kind. And know that meditation really does help that mind. It helps you overall, because once you can convince the mind that it's okay to say, hey, I'm working through a process, but I'm okay. I made it out. That's a beginning right there, just making it out. So that's my 2 cents worth. Just be kind to those around you. If you see someone going through a lot of turmoil, the crying doesn't stop, or the mood swings and the frustrations of everyday life that may be simple to you, but to the person who's going through the effects of mental abuse, it's not simple. Even just getting up in the morning to go to work. How many of us know we have responsibilities and we need to do that? But there are days where the mind just wants to trap you in this space of, you'll never be normal. You've been told for many years that you're worthless, that you can't do anything, without that other person, that if it weren't for that other person who has you in that mental trap, you're not going to make it. How do you expect to deprogram that from one night to the next? So give yourself a lot of love, and do not be ashamed to admit, yes, I'm going through a healing process, but there's really nothing wrong with my spirit. There's nothing wrong with my essence. I'm still a kind, loving, whatever it is your characteristic is, own it. But don't be ashamed to say yes. I would have more reason. I don't know if any of you, and then I'll stop. I don't know if any of you ever watched that program Snapped. It's an old program. I don't even know if it's out anymore.
I heard of it.
But a lot of these women would just snap and kill their husbands or do something crazy or whatever. You know, be happy that at least if you got out of it, you're not just alive, but you're intact and you let that go. But be considerate, be patient with yourself, and just kindness.
That's it. It's very simple, because when you're, you know what, when you're kind to others, when you're kind to others, you're really being kind to yourself. It's a form of practice to convince you that you're kind.
Jolene.
I know, I want to read what Jolene said. Jolene says, million. Your words are worth millions, and you're absolutely priceless.
Thank you, Jolene.
She is. I want to welcome Rick Figueroa. Thank you for joining us. Go ahead, Ali.
Seems like a very heavy topic to start on a Monday, but you know what? People don't want to talk about this. People don't want to talk about this, and they see us happy, and we are. But please know that we're an open book. If anybody has any questions for us,
always.
But honestly, how many people are out there feeling that they're the only ones, feeling that nobody understands? And my biggest message to that is stop wanting others to understand. First, understand yourself.
Yes.
Learn to love yourself and understand yourself. Because how can I expect someone else to understand me? They haven't been in my shoes. That's asking them for too much.
Yeah.
We need to be considerate of that as well. So no one knows what you went through but you. So you're the only one that can lift yourself up. And I am telling you, and I can guarantee it without a shadow of a doubt, that when you start practicing meditation, when you start practicing self-love, when you practice being genuine and authentic with yourself, where you can see yourself in the mirror and know that you contributed to this as well. I'm not blaming anybody else for the mental anguish I've been through. I allowed it because I didn't know I had tools. So that's why Michael and I are so adamant and so passionate about what we do, because we desire for others to experience what we have through meditation, through self-love, and we will continue to do this every day.
Always.
Every day.
Because thank you, Ali, for your wonderful, wonderful blessing of what you brought today.
Read Jolene's comment, please. There's another one.
Jolene says, love you both so much. I love my time with re-energizing. I love my time with re-energizing when I'm communicating with you. Blessings, Jolene. And we have Job Obai. And he says, amen. God bless you, dear family. And Monica Maya's just joined us. Thank you, Monica. Blessings. It's always great to see you. And we're so excited to meet you very soon. The one thing that I wanted to share, and then I got some notes that really hit me that I think we should talk about. And we don't really practice and set this up. We just go with the flow, because that's what life is about. The more you can practice going with the flow because I just had a realization over the weekend. I had a dragonfly come to my space, and we were having time with the family. And if you guys do this, please do not do the same mistakes that I did, which they're not mistakes. They're learning lessons. They're reminding us how to come back home. And the dragonfly showed up, and I was like, oh my gosh, I got a dragonfly guy. You guys go over there. I want to spend time with this dragonfly. And then I was like, wait a minute. You're here with your family. You know, you can set aside time when you want to be. You want to experience nature. You want to do things. Because when you're with your family, be present. And that's going to help your mental health on a whole nother level, is just be present. Because mental health really is the result of being in the past or being in the future. That's when mental health really gets affected. But if you can take your energy and your focus, and it takes discipline, I'm not going to lie to you guys, but the more you can just be fully present, and whatever comes up, just let it go. Oh, I got to worry about this. Wait a minute, that's not the issue. Write it down if you need to, because, if you need to, write things down, but let it go. Focus your energy on the present, and that's very healing, if you want to say that word, but it returns you back to wholeness. Because when you remember to be present with yourself, you align with the alignment that your cells, I'm getting chills, because this has been coming strongly to me, everyone. We are already all aligned. We already are all in that pure state of consciousness, because every single cell of our body is doing exactly what it needs to do. Where we're so caught up in the world that we forget the truth of our being, that every single cell, every single organism, every single facet of my being, mentally, physically, and spiritually, is aligned, doing what it needs to do best. But when I get caught up in what others think, or what I should or shouldn't do, or why is this, how, all these factors, I forget my truth. You don't need to read a book to find your truth. If you do so, that's great. But just meditate on the brilliance that you are, the amazingness that you are. And whatever book you read is going to complement that. Instead of me depending on something to tell me how worthy or how beautiful I am, I need to find the worthiness and beauty within myself. And anything that I look exteriorly will complement that, because everything that we look exteriorly is just a reflection of our beliefs and our opinions and our perspectives on our own self. But it's so easy to blame and point the finger at other people, at other circumstances, at other events, because that's what the brain does. The brain looks for reasons not to be happy. The brain looks for reasons to look for happiness, and that's why it doesn't think it's happy. Because it doesn't matter what job, what career, what experience you're in, you're never going to be happy if you forget that you already are happiness itself. You're always going to look for the next promotion. You're always going to look for the next congratulations. You're always going to look for the next, you are doing good enough. You're always going to depend on other people to tell you how brilliant and how amazing you are. And if you wait for others, then in the meantime, in those moments that nobody is there, you're going to feel more lost, and your mental health is going to be affected. The one thing is also treat your mind like a vehicle. Are you giving it attention? Because the mind is only going to function to the level and the degree that you allow it to function. The mind is waiting for you to show up. The mind is not going to show up for you. I repeat that. The mind is waiting for you to show up. It's not going to show up for you. And if this sounds like you've never heard this before, I can only speak from personal experience. Because unless I was willing to renew my mind, just like the great master Jesus says, renew your mind daily. All the masters have said this. Until you renew your mind, nobody's going to renew it for you. And I got some notes that I want to share. When Ali was talking about the mental prison, coming from ex-drug addiction, there was a saying that I heard in the drug addiction world is, once an addict, always an addict. I don't even have any cravings, ever. Never even think about it. It never even comes across my mind. And we talk to drug addicts. We help drug addicts. So it's not like we don't put ourselves around that environment. But it doesn't even come to mind. So the next level that I want to talk about is mental health. What mental drugs are we addicted to? And there's even a saying, once an addict, always an addict. Oh, I'm always depressed. Oh, it's just I'm always angry. Oh, it's just I'm always sad. Well, because that's why we believe meditation is so important. Because when you can detach from this identity that you think you are, and you can go deeper into your truth, into your true identity, because there is a real identity waiting inside you to come out and speak with you and share with you and be with you. We call it the little child, whatever you want to call it. It's really that God presence within us all, that spiritual presence. And the more you can let go and connect with that spiritual presence, whatever you want to call that, that's your prerogative, that's your choice. I'm not here to force that upon you. Whatever you want to call that sacredness, that presence within you, and you get to know it, you get to play with it, the more it will be there for you, because it's always there for you. But if you're so busy in the world, then I just want to share something really, really, really briefly. You have two facets of you. You have your physical bodily you, and you have your spiritual, energetic, vibrational you. And if you neglect this, then your vibrational, spiritual being, you won't be able to translate the message that it's giving you. So therefore, you'll listen to everybody else. That's what happens when we give only the physical. Okay? So there's an imbalance there. And when you give only the spiritual, you'll be in this spiritual state that you won't be grounded in your physical experience. So maintenance is key. Being balanced, being whole is key. So the reason why I wanted to share this is because that's why meditation is so important. Meditation allows you to discover those tools that we share with people, because unfortunately when we were born, we weren't given these tools. Educational system doesn't give us these tools. And excuse me for saying this, 9 times out of 10, the churches and the places that we go to, the centers, doesn't give us these tools. And they're doing their best, which I appreciate you so much. And I was raised in a Christian church, and let me just tell you, if I was not raised in a Christian church, I would not have this dynamic that I have, because I see a lot of truth that I wasn't able to see when I was in the church. And after realizing these spiritual truths and these mental tools, oh, Rick Figueroa says, take care, I have to go. Blessings, brother. Thank you for joining us. When I realized these tools, that by me saying, oh, I just don't know about them, so they won't affect me. No, it's going to affect you whether you're aware of them or not. The more you're aware of them, the more you can align with them. It's like harvesting a crop. You're not going to harvest in whatever season you want, because you don't know how nature works. You not knowing, like they say, ignorance is bliss. You not knowing is not going to not damage your crops. The more you know how to align with the seasons, how to work with the seasons, how to benefit from the seasons, the more your crops are going to thrive. That's no different from the mind. The more you know the temperaments and the seasons of how the mind works and how you work incongruent to the spiritual you, then you will be able to benefit from the mental tools that are going to help you, because you have your own seasons. We don't all have one season. That's where we get all this mixed up, because our perspectives affect our temperaments and our seasons. And when you can align with your own seasons and temperaments inside of you, not listening to somebody else, but being sensitive to you, you will start to thrive in this mental health that the mind is always for you. But when I say, when you are not for the mind, then the mind will seem to be against you. Because the mind is waiting for you to show up. Because when I was negative and I was angry at the world, the mind wasn't showing up for me. Actually, it would reject people that were there for me. Why? Because my programs, my belief systems were, I'm not good enough. Until I started being sensitive, and it takes that vulnerability of saying, you know what? I'm tired of this. I'm tired. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I want something different. I feel that I deserve something different. Don't be ashamed when you feel like you deserve better, because you do. You are worthy. You are magnificent. If you would just know how magnificent you are, you wouldn't need any more evidence. So, the next thing. Oh.
Go ahead. I'm going to interject here in a minute.
What's traumatic to one is healing and blessing to another. And see, if we say there is just one thing that we need to talk about and it's true, then we'd be lying to you. Because your truth is where you're at right now. And you need to work with where you're at right now. And those tools do not tell you to believe a certain truth. Those mental tools that we offer help you to discover where you're at right now and how to align with the beautiful spiritual, more supreme laws that are above these physical laws. See, these physical laws bow. Listen closely, everyone. These physical laws bow to the spiritual laws that are inside of you. But if you only depend on the physical laws, then those spiritual laws that you're not being aware of and aligning to, they're going to seem to be against you. But they're not against you. Just like the sun is not against you, but if you go out there and you stand in the sun all day, you're going to see that you need to respect the sun. Just like in the cold weather. If you don't cover up, I mean, you're not going to go out there in shorts, if you're not used to it, and say, it's okay, because you need to respect those physical laws. Well, there are spiritual laws. So, pain and pleasure depends on the perceiver of how you respond to an event. Listen closely to that, because I can only speak from personal experience. When we experience something very traumatic, it's not the trauma that affects us. It's how we internalize the trauma. Listen closely. It's not the trauma that affects us. It's It's the mental perceiver of, if somebody does something bad and you accept it, then you've affected yourself. But if you go through a trauma and you're like, wait a minute, and you just find your strength inside, that's where you realize that all things are just events. Like, for example, when you get a flat tire, if you whine and complain about the flat tire, then you're going to take longer to change the tire. You're going to complain and you're not going to take action. But if you get a flat tire and you're like, you know what? Wow, thank you for this flat tire, because I could have had an accident. This flat tire is happening for a reason. Everything is perspective. So when you can transform your perspective, you become the master, the driver of your experience. Which, of course, there's always that God, that spirit, that divine presence that is above, all things. And that's the thing that we serve. That's the presence that we serve. But I'm talking about that presence gave you authority. That presence gave you dominion. That presence gave you masterhood of your experience. And if you're not taking the driver's wheel of your experience, then you're always waiting for somebody. You're always waiting for something instead of driving your experience, because you are here to lead your experience and be the example to show others that they're here to lead their experience. So,
boy, Michael had a lot to say after what I sure lit him up with stuff.
all experiences are only events. Every experience is just an event. We add the ingredients that create the emotions of our events. So when you have an event, if you respond to yourself negatively or destructively, then you will have a destructive experience. It's just the way this goes. Because we are not trapped by the emotions. I did a video, we did a video a while back, emotions and feelings. You guys go back to that video, because I'm not going to go into it since I already did it. But the emotions are not true. The emotions are only showing up based on the perspectives of the beliefs that you hold that create the birth of your emotions. So when you change your perspectives, when you change the perspectives, when you change the beliefs, when you transform your ideas, your opinions, which sometimes come out as judgments, when you transform these, your emotions will transform. These are the laws that we're talking about, and we're just touching on them. So if you guys would like to sign up for the classes and experience another level of experience, we're here to serve. So I can keep going and going and going. Jolene says yes.
I'm going to go in and interject.
Moira, thank you for joining us. Coach Donzel, thank you for joining us.
And I also saw
YM Crisostomo.
Yes.
It was such a pleasure getting to meet you and share space with you.
Happy birthday again. It was
yes,
her birthday yesterday.
It was her Earth Day. Catherine Fogarty Richard, thank you for joining us.
And we also had B on there. Go up a bit more. Yeah, no, not so fast.
Oh, B Viscara.
Yeah.
Much love. Blessings.
Yes.
It was great to see you again too.
So basically, if you, or when, whatever words you want to use, but Michael explained very thoroughly about why the brain and how to react to certain events. But my message to you in conjunction with that is just don't beat yourself up while you're in the process. Yeah. We can't know what it's going to take for some people. And you see us here, we talk about so many different topics. That doesn't mean we're not experiencing our own life. And it's a work in progress. But the beauty of it, and that's why Michael and I love what we do and do what we love, because we've already kind of gone through that path of so much.
Kinda?
Kinda. Yeah, we went through this path that everybody has their journey. Everybody has their story. Do not be ashamed to share it. Do not feel that because at moments you still feel trapped, if you ever did suffer from any kind of depression. Or, I mean, now there's so much out there that you can read. It's been found that before PTSD was associated more like with the persons that go out to war and they come back and they can still hear they hear a firecracker and it just throws them off and triggers. Well, you will be able to tell, men, if you are with a woman who's been abused in any way, shape, or form that inhibits sometimes even her behavior, that if you just raise your hand like this to do something, or you make a sudden movement and the girl flinches, or she's even afraid to speak up because she doesn't know what the reaction is going to be, it's not because she's judging you, it's not because she's afraid of you, it's because there's a trigger that takes her back to those moments when she didn't have the freedom to not just speak, but the freedom to be, to even get to know who she is, to even try and discover who she is. And it may sound so cliche, because this woman wants to know, she wants to start a life and be free. It's not even about that. It's about even being able to make a decision about anything in your life without thinking you're crazy, without feeling that, why are you trapped inside this? Like, am I the only one that suffers from this? Why is everybody else so worthy of things, of being happy, and I'm stuck in this prison in my mind? And it's not a pretty place to be. So I know, like I said before, why I believe so firmly in meditation. That's your sacred space. That's where you go and speak to that little girl inside. That's where you go and speak to that little boy inside. That's where you can begin that journey of healing and becoming whole. And let me tell you, it doesn't matter if I've lived for 50 years of abuse. 50. If you really want to count it, since my situation when I was being born and all the stuff that happened before the age of 3, because I'm 53, so I've been dealing with all sorts of abuse the entire part of my life. And I am happy to say that I am no longer in that place. And if triggers come up, people get in my face or tell me something and it wants to take me back to that war zone, I have the capability of saying no, I'm not that person anymore. I am not going to continue my life on that track. But it takes a little bit of work, it takes a little bit of work. And Michael is a great, great, great partner, supporter, teacher, mentor, friend. Need I say more?
I got more.
And what I love about that is that I've learned not to be I've learned not to be dependent on just because it's his support.
Yeah.
I've learned to be able to.
I love that. That was my goal.
I've learned that I'm the one that creates my happiness.
Yes.
I don't give it away. I don't allow anyone to take away from my silliness and my quirkiness and my desire to laugh. And if I want to cry, I cry. I just love being me. And it's very important, men and women out there, to just be kind to your partners. Be kind in any relationship you have, brother, sister, mother, father, friends. Oh my goodness, just be kind and know that you can never judge what the other person has been through.
Exactly.
And Michael and I are very, very thankful that we've been through what we've been through so that we can share with you. I don't have any, I would not change any of it. And I know that it's challenging to believe, but really, I am thankful for everything I've been through in my life, because it's created in me a compassion and an ability to feel. And why would Alice be kind? Because I know what it's like to be on the receiving end of unkindness. Yes. So I don't want that for anybody.
And you know what? May I share?
Sure.
One thing I want to bounce off what she said, and this is going to sound weird to a lot of people, but men, support your women totally. And don't take it personally, because I can tell you, I'm still processing through this because I'm not used to it. This is my first serious relationship, like really serious relationship. And the one thing is, when she does that, because for men, I would like to share my PTSD before, and I didn't even realize it was PTSD. But you couldn't come from behind me. I would punch you. People would even test me. They would go like this. They would touch my thing, but then they would be ducking down like this, because they knew even if you just touch me like this, if you touch me like this, I immediately turned around and punched, because I was jumped so much. I mean, jumped, for those that don't know, is when 2 or 3 more people just beat you up. They just punch you and stuff and kick you. So my point is this: we all have our different perspectives of PTSD, but what I would like to call that is just getting caught in the past as your reality. That's what PTSD is to me. Until you transform being caught in the reality of your past, I don't no longer jump. I mean, one time she touched me and I was like it was a big deal to me. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't jump. I was like celebrating myself. So celebrate your victories. No matter how small, celebrate your victories.
But you were getting at something while you were sharing about because you would jump and you were giving your example of your PTSD. So what would happen when I would jump? That you were saying men be...
The what? Oh yeah, no. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
That men support your women because when I say something that triggers her or something, she goes like she gets like really small. Yeah, really small. And I'm like, and I used to do this. I'm like, what did I do now? Like in myself, like you're beating yourself up, but you got to realize 9 times out of 10 it's not you. I mean, if you're like disrespecting your woman, that's another thing, or women vice versa. Because I mean, this is for both. Because it just depends on the relationship. But when you see your woman hurting, 9 times out of 10 it's not you. Maybe it's something you triggered, but it's something that she's still working through. Hold that space for her to work through it. Don't come out of judgment, because even I would come out of judgment. I'm like, what did I say this time? Like, what did I and I would take it personally. And I just want to say, men, don't take it personally. Women, don't take it personally. Each of us are working through ourselves. Okay? So I just want to share a couple of things. Is like I just said, don't take it personally. Okay?
You might want to catch up with the comments.
Don't be afraid to walk with your heart on your shoulders. This is the sensitivity. Because being sensitive, coming from personal experience, I would have rejected sensitivity because I didn't want to be weak. But sensitivity is really the strongest strength you can have. Because the more sensitive you can be and allow yourself to be, the more you're going to love, the more you're going to appreciate. I am barely starting to realize a world that always existed that I wasn't giving myself permission or authority to experience. That's a shirt. What minutes is it? So we can.
I don't know.
41 minutes. We're creating shirts, guys, so we're taking quotes. So
we are a little crazy anyway.
I love being crazy.
Guys, you know.
And if you're crazy, you're welcome in this crazy club. Okay, so
talking about mental health, we don't want to. I mean, really, it's such a conundrum, because we can laugh about saying, "Oh, when I'm just being crazy," but let's not use that lightly. I mean, seriously, sometimes you can drive yourself crazy just with one thought, and it's not pretty. It's not pretty. So, yeah, please share. What do you want us to share, B? I'm reading the messages, and
let's
please
catch up with the messages.
Yeah, go up on top. Jolene, Job.
Jolene says, Alice, I'm giving you hugs. I am sending positive and loving vibrations to you. Thank you. Oh, Jobo Boy says, Alice Inouye, amen, amen, dear sister. And we are still going to Kenya. Job, keep manifesting, brother. We're going to be in Kenya.
I don't know if he's in Kenya, but we're going to Africa.
No, he's in Kenya.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're going to be in Kenya very soon, because we are working with Job to help the ministers bring meditation, to bring this spiritual awareness on another level. Because when people realize these mental tools, we'll realize God is not against us. Because,
I apologize. Yes.
We'll realize that God is not against us, because I grew up in a world where I thought I was my worst enemy, and I didn't even realize it. See, we don't even realize we're our worst enemy until I'll share that later, because I have that written down for the last of the video.
Okay, so I want to direct myself to B right now. I feel it's very important. She says, please share. And I asked, what do you want us to share, B? And she answers, tell us your opinion on medication, meaning medication versus meditation.
Let me share something before we start. We are not doctors. Oh, you were going to say that?
Yes,
okay.
we are.
Yeah, because we got to do that for...
Oh, of course, everybody knows. We're not doctors.
But just if you're watching this for the first time...
We are not in any capacity doing that. She says opinion, so we are going to give an opinion. And a lot of people don't like opinions, okay? if you really want to be serious about that, a lot of people do not like opinions. But I will tell you from my own life and what I've lived through, all I'm going to say is this, that when I used to suffer from a lot of anxiety and I was still functioning. I could take care of, well, I did my best to take care of businesses, but that's another story. But I would work. I would get up and do what everybody does, and I seemed like a normal person in society, but inside of me, only I knew what I was carrying and how I would cry at nights, or how I would be so sensitive to things, and everything would just feel so real to me. And one time it was just getting over the top, and I was taken to psychiatrist in Mexico, because God forbid if anybody here in the States found out I was crazy, it'd be too embarrassing, right? So go to Mexico. Anyway, they gave me this medication. I only took it once, and I'll tell you what it felt like, because I've never even taken aspirin or Tylenol. I don't like taking anything over the counter. I'm always all natural herbs ever since I can remember. I would not take medication ever. This is even before I knew about meditation. But anyway, B, to answer your question, or to share my opinion, when I was given this medication in Mexico, all I can remember that it just felt like if I had been hit over the head with a baseball bat and I got knocked out, and I just slept. And then you wake up and you're like, okay, well, what happened, and where am I, and what's going on? Oh no, we'll take another medication so that you're calm. Well, excuse me, but it's the equivalent to me as if someone just hits me with a baseball. It's a lot cheaper. Just hit me over the head with something and prop me up against a wall and just leave me there, because I'm not going to be functioning for anyone or anything.
Yeah.
Because the only way to get rid of the anxiety or get rid of that trauma of being in this crazy state of mind, take a pill, go to sleep. Oh yeah, I really took care of the issue, didn't I? I just avoided it. I camouflaged it. I covered it up with a pill. But meditation takes you to that core. It's not pretty, guys, okay? It is not a pretty place. I'm not going to lie to you. When you're starting your own journey on being authentic with yourself and to get better rid of, or whatever words you want to use, you go into meditation and you say, okay, come on, here I am. What is it that got you to this place, and how are you going to get out of it for you? Not running from the problem, not avoiding the problem, not denying that there is something there, but facing it and saying, okay, in my case, Alice, what did you do? How did you contribute to this? How could you have allowed so much abuse in your life, self-inflicted, because then you get addicted to the adrenaline of being abused. Oh, you're good for nothing, whatever, and then later the person's like, oh, but I love you, and it's just, blah, 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 and then you feel, yeah, they love me, and then you go back. That's this dependency on being it's very intricate, okay? Everybody has their own story. I'm just stating from mine.
Exactly.
But meditation, are you kidding me? It's the most organic, free flowing, it's the best. Talk about being put in a padded room. Just go into your own mind, into your own inner self, and peel away. Peel away. It's not about adding. Don't add stuff to you. Don't fill yourself up with pills and all these different things to help you with. And I'm not trying to, hold on a second, I'm not trying to minimize those that have some kind of imbalances and need something to help them ease their way. But I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, we have 2 students who were on antidepressants and all different kinds of medications for more than 20 years.
It's incredible. And
after one of them, after 4 months of taking our classes and doing meditation and preparing and working with the mind, they've been off that medication. I was never on medication. I took that one time, and after the effects, I said, heck no, this is not for me. I'm not doing this because I don't believe in it. But if you needed to ease your way out of it, we're not here to judge. You do what's best for you. But meditation, in my opinion, does help tremendously. But it takes work. It takes dedication and commitment to yourself. Nobody can do it for you. You have to do it for yourself. So go ahead, Michael.
And that's the reason why a lot of people love medication, because it takes that responsibility away. And we work with several students, and one thing that I can tell you from personal experience, because you're looking at someone who was diagnosed at 15 years old 14 or 15 years old, that I was gonna have to take psychological psych drugs for the rest of my life because I had a chemical imbalance and I was suicidal. I was literally labeled as what's the term? Like when you're crazy, because I believed I was crazy in the sense that
It was just life was
I was not
overwhelming.
not here, I was not there. But my point is this, that, and like we said, we're not doctors, but this is just my experience. And when I was gonna take the pill, I was like, wait a minute, why am I gonna believe somebody that tells me this? See, I'm not saying like go and rebel against your doctors, but do your research. Don't just believe everything everybody tells you, because I will tell you, when we talk about meditation, let's get deeper into the core of meditation, because that's why a lot of people need psychiatric drugs, because they're in the meditation of the illusion of what they're not. Listen closely to what I just said. You're taking meditation in a illusory way where you're lying to yourself, because you're meditating on what you're not. You're meditating on the fears. You're meditating on the anxiety. You're meditating on the worry. You're meditating on the guilt. You're meditating on the resentment. You're meditating on the anger. You're meditating on what's not good in life. You're meditating on who's against you. You're meditating on why does everything wrong happen to me. You're meditating on why don't I feel good? Why do I just feel good in certain circumstances? So whatever you believe and you focus your attention on, you're meditating on. So we're all meditating. Let's get to the core of meditation, because that's why what we do is a whole nother level. Because we don't just tell people to meditate. We give you the tools. So when you meditate, you are operating within these supreme laws, and you are working with the force that is taking care of everything around you, all of nature, all of existence. You are aligning with that force. So without going into a whole nother class, is this, okay? Because I was going to end it with this, but if something comes up, I don't want to crystallize it, okay?
Yeah, don't say.
Listen to this. Sacred space. No one is in charge of you but you. Think about that. When you're meditating within yourself, no one is in charge but you. But when you're in the exterior world, it seems like everybody else is in charge. You're waiting for someone. You're waiting for something. You're waiting for, different factors. Because when we're in the world, the brain only sees outside of itself. When it's not designed to see inside of itself. That's why we believe that we are just physical. But when we do meditation, we look within ourselves, it short circuits the brain. It's like the brain's like, what are you doing? And that's why, listen closely, that's why when people are going to go to sleep, or when they're going to quiet their minds, they seem like something's wrong. When you are in those moments of quiet, of solitude, you're like, oh shoot, why am I quiet? Oh wait, I can't be quiet. The brain starts thinking, the brain starts thinking, the brain starts thinking, the brain starts thinking. As long as we keep ourselves busy, we're not thinking so much. But as soon as we stop, the brain is not designed to be still. The brain is not designed, well, let me repeat that. The brain is designed to be still, but we're so convinced that we are not designed to be still. And when you have those moments of stillness, you can't sleep. You're all over the place. You're thinking. You can't stop thinking. And that's where we were thought to believe that we're possessed. And coming from someone who thought that they were possessed, let me just tell you, me and my personal experience, and nobody has to believe this, it's up to you to feel it and believe it, I possessed the thought, so what I thought possessed me, I was possessing. Think about that for a second. If you think you're possessed by a thought, really, are you the one possessing the thought because you continue to think about it? You continue to give it attention? Because I can guarantee you, the minute you stop giving those things your attention and you start focusing on your breath, every moment you feel that anxiety, just come back to your breath. Every moment you're concerned about something, come back to your breath. I mean, if it's a life or death situation, I'm not going to say, come back to your breath and forget it. Breathe as you're working through it. But take the time to remember who you are. So, it says mental health. Listen to this, because this is what hit me, and this is a shirt. Are you ready? Mental health is when you take your mind back as the observer. Until then, you're inside the mind. See, when you're inside the mind, you don't realize you're something more because you're just looking. But when you can look back at yourself, And I know it sounds weird, but when you can breathe and realize that the brain is here to work for you. The brain is just a super sophisticated, amazing, brilliant, magnificent computer, super sophisticated computer, designed to computate and analyze, judge and factor all kinds of key components. That every time you're looking, your brain is computing and seeing everything, but you're only able to focus on a certain amount of things. Your brain is so brilliant that the energy that you meditate on is the energy that you're going to realize and experience. That's mental health in my perspective. So, are you ready to take your mind back? Or do you want everybody to tell you what your mind is? Because I don't want to tell you what your mind is. That's not my job. My job is to show you, our job is to show you the tools. That way you can realize how powerful you are and use what you were given from the moment of your birth. Meditation. You are thriving right now. You never needed a pill to grow and thrive. Unless you decided or you allowed yourself to become unbalanced, consciously or unconsciously. When you let go of the 100% responsibility that you are always given. See, when we give other people our power, that's when we start needing a pill. When we take our power back, that's when we're taking the most powerful pill, which is the meditation, which we can also call self-love, self-gnosis, knowing yourself. Because the one thing that I just want to touch on this really quick. It's like when you're in a relationship, okay? Just so we can get this on a simpler level. When we're in a relationship, and we're going to say, which one you want to be? You want to be the brain or you want to be the person? Just pick one.
The brain.
The brain. Okay. So this is my brain, right? So.
Oh, God.
Okay.
No,
so this is my brain. Okay. Unless I cultivate this relationship with this brain, it's always going to control me. Because I'm always going to listen to it. I'm always going to believe it. Instead of saying, wait a minute. You're here to serve me. I thank you. I appreciate you. But guess what? I got to get to know you. I got to get to know what are your tics? What are your sensitivities? Why do you react this way? How do you react? How can we interact with each other better? See, the brain is here to build a relationship with
entity,
you.
Kind of.
It's here to build a relationship with you. But if you just take it for granted, then, I mean, it'll appear that like it takes you for granted. But the brain is always in your corner. And let me explain a little bit why I say it's always in your corner. Because I use my brain so powerful that I created a life of sabotage, of trauma, of chaos, because I allowed it to go there. But the moment that I realized, wait a minute, I can think for myself, then I realized, wait a minute, I was always in control. The brain was never in control. I allowed the brain to take a sense of control. So when I realized I was always in control, I had to take 100% of responsibility. If I gave 1% of victimization, then the brain would still have control. But if I take 100% responsibility no matter what I've been through, then I take back the mind. And the mind is here to serve me. There's a quote that I learned long ago that I want to share with you guys. The mind, the brain, is a poor master, but an excellent servant. Is the brain serving you, or does it feel like it's bossing you around? Because if it feels like it's bossing you around, you're lying to yourself. You're just giving it that place. So, if you're ready to take your mind back, if you're ready to experience your mind on another level, that it's always been ready to just show up, but are you willing to show in?
And I have something I desire to interject with.
Go ahead.
As you were speaking, Michael, I do want to say that we're not minimizing. We're not intending to say or to show that we're not sensitive or caring about the people who are out there that are really, really struggling or overtaken by things that just totally disrupt their quality of life, because their mental health is trapped. It's just trapped. And I'm speaking, yes, but I'm speaking to those of us who are, I mean, please just feel this. Every human being that lives on this planet and deals with the chaos that is brought from synthetic stuff that's polluting our air, that deals with, I mean, there's an abundance of stuff that affects our mental health.
The phone.
It's not just abuse.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? There's so many factors that throw imbalances into our system, and why do we react certain ways? And I'm not putting down the doctors. There are certain things that they're using to help these people so that they can cope and at least keep them from hurting themselves or hurting others.
Yes.
Okay, so I respect that. But what I am talking about, what I first intended to bring this subject of mental health when it's the month of miracles, it's because we're all a walking miracle.
Yes.
To just be able to function and go out the front door in the morning sometimes is a miracle. Because yes, we're not right now, we're very spoiled in this country to a certain degree. Yes, we're not walking outside and there's bombs falling everywhere, places where
or
children,
having to walk for water.
There's so many
like
things.
In Kenya, you gotta walk 30 miles sometimes for water.
So there are a lot of factors. I'm not talking about, just because of the abuse.
Yes.
But please be sensitive that even though we are on this planet and we have neighbors and we have other people who go through things, please be sensitive that don't take it lightly because you see the woman that cries so often. Oh, she's just such a big crybaby. Or what's wrong with you? Just get a life. Get done with it.
Yeah.
When you're in that state of mind, that is even more detrimental because you're looked upon as though something's so wrong with you. Can't you just function? Why are you so dysfunctional? And you know what? Excuse me, but I'm going to speak for me. How can I not have dysfunction for a little while after I just came out? It's like if you're beating someone, right? People who box or however you get beat, when you come out of that, you're going to be in a little bit of a daze. You're going to have some kind of evidence that you've been in a fight. You've been bruised. You've been bruised. You've been hit, right? So that evidence is very out there in the open. People see your face all bruised up, your lips all swollen, whatever it is, right?
That heals.
But just because you can't see my bruises, just because you can't see my scars because they're on the inside, doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
Yes.
So when you are criticized or looked upon as you're dysfunctional, you can't even do this, you can't do that, don't minimize the person. Don't do that for them, because it puts them back into that darker hole sometimes because they're still dealing with their self-worth.
And
so medication may help, yes, please.
But work your way off of it too.
Yes, but those that need it because there's an extreme of schizophrenia or something else, I can't go there. But I'm speaking only about the miracle of life itself. Just enjoy that you can breathe, like Michael says.
Yes.
Just breathing, being able to drink clean water.
Appreciate the small things and you'll start seeing the great things because they're always there. One thing that Ali was touching on or was talking about is the bruises. There's another topic about mental health is just because we can't see the psychological bruises, even we don't think they're real. So because we're not facing them, because we're not choosing to be aware of them, it's like, oh no, that's just how it is. That's just how I am. We ignore those bruises because I guarantee you, if I seen a black eye on my eye and it was there for 2 weeks, I'm gonna start putting something on it because it would be like embarrassment to walk around with the black eye. But how many of us are walking around with bruised identities, like traumatized identities, and we walk around with the face that we're okay, and because we're afraid to talk about it, that's why this is such a topic that needs to be talked about, controversial corner, because being afraid to talk about what you're going through is the reason why you continue to be stuck there. Because of people judging. Find people that are going to be there for you. Find a group, connect with us, because when you can find people that are not going to judge you, that have been there. Oh, and also find people that have been there, because people that have not been there, they're going to most likely even unconsciously judge you because they don't know, they can't identify. I'm not talking about everyone, because there are people that haven't been there that do have this beautiful open heart. Okay, but what I'm saying is, for people to connect with like people that have been there, people that can understand you, can comprehend you. We're going to have to do a part 2 to this mental health, because another thing is, if you are taking pills, like I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm going to repeat that 1,000 times, because, you know, a lot of people get in trouble for sharing these topics, but we don't want to live in fear, because we're going to share if we're asked the question. But again, I'm not a doctor, but let me just say, if you are taking any psychological medication, find a way that you can wean your dosage down, because just like the brain can tolerate its tolerance, it can tolerate the more you take, the more it needs. It can also tolerate, and when you start slowly coming off, it'll start being more dependent on you instead of dependent on the drug. But be very careful and seek proper medical assistance, like someone that's more in the, I'm just gonna say it, more on the holistic side. Because if you go by someone who is just, you know, taught to share what they are told instead of doing, see, I'm gonna touch on a subject really quick. 9 times out of 10, the medical profession just repeats what they're told. 9 times out of 10, they don't do their own inner research to find out what is really going on. So basically, we're getting information just like the educational system that is rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. But I'm going to ask you, if you want to be a force of transformation, start embracing your greatness. Start embracing your magnificence. Don't be afraid to shine. Don't be afraid to illuminate your truth, because you're going to infect and infatuate and inspire people around you. You're going to be the pill that you're taking for them. That's what this world needs. The world needs more people to show up instead of just talking about it. Oh yeah, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. But they're not doing it. The thing is, we need to practice by example, by experience, what we are here to share and give to the world. See, you didn't go through a traumatic experience just to keep going through it. You went through it for a reason, so you can come out of it and show others that are in it how to come out of it. The world needs more people to start sharing and being a blessing for others. We are all teachers. It's just, what are we teaching? Are you teaching someone not to believe themselves by not believing in you? Are you teaching someone not to love themselves by not loving you? Or are you teaching by example how someone can love themselves? And I don't care if they call you conceited, okay? If they tell you, oh, you're so conceited, go talk to Michael. I'm conceited, all in a good way, in a great way. I love myself, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I believe in myself, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. I am worthy, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. We are worthy, we are great, and we are not ashamed to admit it. You'll see us walk with our hearts on our sleeves, but also with our strength on our shoulders, knowing how great we are. But it's not that we are greater than you. We want to inspire you, as you see greatness in us, to you give yourself permission and the authority to be great, because you are great. You are greatness itself. So don't get me started.
Yeah. B says, wow, thank you, Michael. See, and this is why we tell you.
And I think that we should.
Yeah, this is why we tell you that,
because
please sign up for our classes. Please.
This is just a little bit.
Sign up for our classes. We are in the process of creating a group here in Yuma. B, you're more than welcome to join that group. Please private message me. We can give you details. But honestly, why I touch this subject of mental health?
I got one thing.
See?
No, I got one thing. Well, this is my famous one more thing.
Okay, and this is it. I'm just kidding. Oh, well, if you just want to really, really know, experience it for yourself. Because we could sit here and talk all day.
Share this video.
We could sit here and talk all day, but unless you experience your own journey with the tools that can really help you, believe me, we would not be sitting here if those tools did not work. I can guarantee you we would not be able to sit here and tell you. And I don't give a lot of detail of what I went through, but if you desire to know more, please private message me. But I can tell you honestly, just because I teach this or I help Michael facilitate meditation to people doesn't mean that I don't have my moments. We're all human, but we're working through it, but we know the tools. So we have more of an advantage because we really know that it works.
And you know what? Another thing is, please, whether you're a woman or a man, because I used to direct this to women, please get to know Allie. Message her, friend her. I repeat this like a broken record. You guys don't know what you're missing.
Aww.
And I'm sure we're missing you. Because we got to meet amazing individuals like Yesenia, but it's YM Crisostomo. Thank you. Such a blessing and such an honor to meet you. Jolene, B, thank you, all of you. I want to share something
Fred Green also put a message out there.
I want to share something that is going to be so profound that I want you to take this for the rest of your life. Because I was in the psychological world, because I went to psychiatrists and stuff, and when they tell us to take a pill, not everyone is going to react the same, because we each have our biochemical different structures and stuff, our frequency, which is based on the emotions, based on the thoughts, that creates our frequency. So based on our chemical structure is going to be based on how, and even cologne. I didn't know this a long time ago. I learned this, that when you wear cologne, not everyone is going to smell the same, because it's based on your biochemical structure, right? So if we can say that about cologne, perfume, if we can say that about pills, this is why we say that meditation is so profound, because even what you're hearing today doesn't even touch it. And I need to say that. It doesn't even touch it. When you have this personal experience with yourself, words can't go there. If you're saying thank you right now, and you have that experience, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, now wow. Because words, we cannot convey with words. We do our best. But we cannot convey with words for really say what it is. So no matter how profound it sounds, I haven't even touched it. And I mean that with a whole sincere heart. I mean, we experience the high of life every single day. Like I was even sharing with Ali this morning. We were spending time with at Yesenia's Earth Day, and we were drinking water. We were drunk off water.
We were high
off water. The more I drank water, I mean, because it was already, the energy was moving, but the more I drank water, I was like, wow, because water is the greatest high. If you guys drink water, like when you guys see me drink water, and I usually don't say this, but you'll see me do this. Like tap into the potential that water gives. Because if you just drink water just to drink water, you're never going to tap into fullness of water.
And that's another video.
But if you drink water, and you just do this, you just look at the water and you say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And you start drinking it with gratitude, you're going to start feeling energetically the water start to, not birth because it's already there, but start to move inside of you, because water is alive. And that's just like meditation. Life is alive, and it's it's ready and willing to transform you. But not to transform you in what you're not, but to transform and destroy what you're not, to unfold and unravel what you are. It's like a flower.
Jolene has left. She says, I've got to go, but I'll message you as soon as possible. I love you both so much. Marta Valtierra, besos y abrazos. And so thank you. Thank you, B, for that contribution. Yes.
And that's why we say ask questions.
Because
yes,
and this could go deeper and deeper, and we know that. So we will let you go for today. Please message us as well about our idea of calling our show, and
you can't overdose on meditation.
No,
you may. That's another important thing. You
can overdose, but keep it balanced. You need to be able to come back out here.
What I'm saying is loving yourself. You can never love yourself too much. Getting to know yourself, you can never get to know yourself too much. To appreciate yourself, to live, you can never live too much. So this is what I mean, that we can never overdose on life. We can never overdose on love. We can never overdose on self-awareness. The more, the merrier. So, you know what? I'm even going to create a shirt, overdose on yourself. Overdose on yourself. Because you'll never go wrong. Patty Maya's just joined us. Oh my gosh.
I love that woman. Happy.
Yesenia, if you don't know Patty, please message Patty. She's amazing. She's amazing. And Jolene, message Patty. Get to know Patty. Patty Myers, oh my gosh, if you guys want to talk with someone who walks around with their heart on their shoulders and loves humanity, says asleep. I say shoulders.
Where it's
but Patty,
that time.
Patty is such a beautiful soul. And I seen Mary Sterling pop in earlier. Another one is Mary Sterling. Let's connect, guys, because we're not on here just to talk about ourselves. Again, Maria Cronin joined us. Becky Williams, a personal, amazing friend of mine. Becky Williams, I love you, girl, and I'm so excited to connect with you. Lourdes Pagan joined us. Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Wow.
Patty,
well, those of you that joined us at the tail end, you're going to need to go back and watch this from the beginning.
And then Yesenia says, I must leave for the day for work, but I look forward to learning and speaking to you both more. Thank you again. And imagine all this that you're taking to work. Saturate with love, because you are love. Thank you, Yesenia.
So thank you, everyone, for joining us.
Sign up for our classes.
And share these videos.
Yes.
Private message us with your input, your questions. And again, we're thinking Monday mornings, 8 a.m.
Yeah.
If that works for you.
We're thinking 7 a.m., but let us know if 7 or 8 a.m. works for you guys. Every Monday.
Or we might do evenings, but we're still debating on that. So we're not, until we officially announce it, and the name that we want to call it is...
Ma'am.
Yeah, but the name is Michael and Allie on Mondays.
Ma'am.
So.
Bringing the feminine. Ma'am.
Okay, everyone.
Ma'am.
Ciao, ciao, because we'll never go.
Yeah.
Ciao, ciao. Oh, holy. An hour and 16 minutes.
Blessings.
We love you guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
We still got to do Spanish.
Oh.
Yay.
Yay. How am I going to remember all that? Oh. Ciao, ciao.